When I entered my mother's room, she was sitting on a chair with a solemn look on her face. Suddenly she said, "You can leave now." What do you mean? I mean, you don't have to live here anymore. But the company just recovered, and Dad's health is. Your elder sister and her husband will take care of things. I'm telling you to leave, you're no longer needed. Hurry back to Tokyo. My name is Emily, a 32-year-old office worker. After graduating from a local university, I moved to Tokyo for my job. For the past 10 years, I worked relentlessly, achieving results in my profession. Despite many promotions and earning a significant salary for my age, I have never been in a relationship and have been single for years. The surprising part is that I'm not particularly anxious about it. My friends often try to get me into dating mode, asking if I'm not pressured to get married, but to no avail. I believe the reason is my mother. She has never pressured me to get married or expressed a desire to see her grandchildren. In fact, she never says much to me at all. She just wasn't interested from the beginning. My mother has always been more interested in my elder sister. My sister is very beautiful, tall, and well known for her looks in our hometown. After high school, she even did some modeling in Tokyo, which probably added to her reputation. My mother, always proud of her, would show her off in town almost every day. On the other hand, I might have taken after my father and wasn't as attractive. While I did well academically, I wasn't exceptionally gifted. So, my mother probably wasn't as interested in me. My sister always got new clothes, while I mostly got her hand-me-downs. Regarding my career, whenever I asked for advice, Mom would just say, "Do whatever you want." Although it can be seen as liberal, to me, it felt more like she was neglecting me. My sister, always pampered and treated like a princess, grew up to be selfish and somewhat manipulative. She acts kind to outsiders, but she's truly terrible to me. When we were younger, she'd say things like, "Don't walk beside me, it's embarrassing being seen walking with you." She would also take my allowance from me. So, I've always had a hard time with her and barely see her since I moved to Tokyo. However, out of the blue, I got a call from my mother. I thought it must be serious for her to call me. Picking up the phone in a hurry, she said, "Your father collapsed." I left work early and rushed back to my hometown. My father had suffered from a stroke and was stable for now, but needed rest. When I reached the hospital room, he was sleeping. My mother then beckoned me to the hospital lounge. There, she shared a shocking truth with me. "Actually, we have a debt of about $2 million US. What? Why so much?" "Well, the business hasn't been doing well. Our family ran a factory that produced parts. My father took over from my grandfather and raised my sister and me. He managed to support both of us through college. I never imagined the business was struggling that much. Moreover, I felt something was off. My mother handled the finances at the company. So, they should have noticed the debt much earlier. Why did they let the debt inflate this much? But that's not the concern right now. They need to repay the debt as soon as possible." Upon returning to the hospital room, my dad woke up. "Dad, Emily, it's been a while. You came all the way to see me." "Yes. Why did you push yourself until you collapsed?" "I'm sorry, I heard about the debt." "Right. I'm sorry for being such a burden. In any case, I'll help too. Let's repay the debt and turn the business around." "Thank you, Emily." After that, I went back to the office to explain the situation and arranged to work remotely. I focused on making sales to the father's factory clients and investigating the work environment to identify improvements. The father, not wanting to be a burden, regained his strength and was able to leave the hospital early. The morale in the company is vastly different when the president is present. Even without doing the actual work, just having the father present boosted the employees' motivation. I visited various clients with my father, fervently requesting them to raise their transaction prices. Two companies, admitting they had initially set the price too low, agreed to increase it. Another issue was the wages. Apparently, my elder sister had been working as an office worker at the factory without me knowing for a few years. She was demanding a high salary of $3,000 per month, and my mother had convinced my father to pay her. This burden was impacting the wages of the father and the other employees. I reprimanded my mother and father, and adjusted my sister's salary to an average amount while increasing the wages of other employees. The morale of the employees increased even more, and their work quality and speed improved. Thanks to this, we secured new clients and started making a profit. The final problem was the large debt. I showed my passbook to my father in private. "What? How did you save so much? I've been earning quite a bit. I've also been studying stocks for a while now and have been investing. I'll take care of the $2 million debt before it accrues interest. Manage the business properly and repay it little by little without being swayed by Mom and Mary. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Around 4 months have passed since I returned to my hometown to help revive my father's business. But there was someone who wasn't pleased with my return. That person is Mary. She wasn't happy that I suddenly came back, efficiently worked, and even managed to turn the business around. Furthermore, she was not pleased that her salary was significantly reduced. You always do unnecessary things. You should have just stayed in my shadow. My sister was always like this. She isn't satisfied unless she's gaining the most. I'm back. Ah, Tom, welcome back. Just like this, she quickly changes her attitude and expression depending on the person. In a sense, that's an amazing skill. Maybe she's suited for sales. My sister's husband, Tom, works as a public servant. He has good looks and a stable income. He's also very kind and approachable. He probably fell for my beautiful sister's advances. While I was pondering this, my mother called me. I went to her room, and she was sitting there with a solemn expression. "You can leave now." What do you mean? I said you don't have to live here anymore. But the company has just recovered, and Dad's health is? Your sister and her husband will look after things, so leave. You're not needed anymore. Just go back to Tokyo. I couldn't believe it. After all the cooperation, the moment the debt is gone, this happens. It's too much of a sudden change. Maybe I was overjoyed being relied on by my mother for the first time. She was just trying to use me. Fine, I'm leaving. When I started packing my things, mother and sister were smirking and saying things like, "Finally." I thought this day would never come. In front of my room. Then, as I drove home, I received a call from my father. "Hey, Emily, where are you? I'm sorry, I couldn't stand Mom and the others anymore. Can we meet?" Yes. It was surprising that my father came all the way to Tokyo. I had him come to my house. This is the first time my father has come to Tokyo. He was amazed. "Wow, are the apartments in the city so luxurious?" "Well, I think the rent here is relatively high." "Emily, I'm sorry. After all you've done, it has come to this." "It's okay, Mom's personality won't change. I have caused you more inconvenience than I can ever make up for. So I'm thinking of letting Mom and Mary experience some hardships too." The $2 million you covered for, you prepared a loan agreement, right? When I die, it will remain as a negative legacy. Don't say such an unlucky thing like dying. Actually, I have cancer. It was detected when you were helping with the management, and I had a medical examination. I only have a short time left. Oh no, I don't want to bother you anymore. So, sign this paper to renounce the inheritance. Dad's eyes were serious. I did as told, signing to renounce the inheritance. Never forget, I consider you the most precious in the world. Although Father's words were somewhat uncomfortable, I was glad he said that. He passed away a week after that. He probably thought this was the only chance he had, so he came all the way to Tokyo. After finishing all the funeral affairs, I told my mother and sister, I will take care of father's memorial services. Mother and sister, probably getting what they wanted, happily agreed. You're willingly taking care of such troublesome and expensive things. I don't understand the way altruistic people think. I am cutting ties with you too. I'm taking my father back with me. Haha, we're glad you're the one cutting the ties. The company is doing well. We don't need you. I see. Well, take care. Oh, Tom, be careful. They might exploit you in various ways. Don't let your jealousy make you say stupid things. My apologies. I guess we won't be seeing each other anymore then. I said that and left my parents' house. Needless to say, I was bombarded with calls from my mother and sister. I ignored the calls at first, but got too annoyed with it, so I took the call. Hello, what's going on? Why is there a $2 million debt left as an inheritance? Because it's the money I lent to Dad. What? You'll have to work hard to pay it back. I suppose it should be fine if the business is doing well. Unless someone decided to raise their own salary without permission. Why? Why were you able to prepare such a huge amount of money? Unlike you, I've worked hard. I earn a high salary and make money from stocks. By the way, I'm currently living in a luxury apartment. No way. You have a higher status than me. Seems so. Good luck with the debt. Saying that, I hung up and blocked her number. By the way, there was an employee at my father's factory whom I had become close with. Apparently, my sister and mother were exploiting the company, reducing employees' salaries to fill their own pockets. Consequently, many employees left. As expected, the business couldn't continue and was on the brink of bankruptcy. Tom also initiated a divorce to escape from my sister. With the $2 million debt, and potentially more if the company goes bankrupt, it seems the price of their previous extravagant behavior is catching up to them. But it doesn't concern me anymore. Meanwhile, I continue to work hard and invest. I'm also in a romantic relationship. Everything is going well both personally and professionally. My boyfriend is a lawyer with a high income. He's also good at cooking and has a kind nature, truly an ideal partner. Recently, he proposed, and I look forward to building a happy family